Welcome to the Chris Josh Show, where we ignite your inner power to conquer life with confidence, clarity, and courage. I'm your host, Chris Josh. Before I start the episode, I want to share a silly mistake I recently made. I can't believe I made this mistake. So, if you're new to the podcast, welcome. And if you're not, you might have noticed the title of the podcast changed. It used to be called In the Zone with Chris Josh, and now it's called The Chris Josh Show. So, what happened? Well, in the past, it's always been difficult for me to come up with names for a business, for a website, for anything. It takes me a while to come up with a good title or something that I'm happy with. For example, my last book, I must have had 30 different titles, and it was a nightmare for me. Ultimately, I settled on 8,000 Ultimate Affirmations. I like the way it rolls off the tongue, but that's besides the point. When coming up with the name for the podcast, I finally settled on In the Zone out of a bunch of different titles. The mistake was, and I don't know how I made this, is that I didn't go into Apple and Spotify and type out In the Zone to see if anyone else has it. So I published the podcast and I wait a few hours or a day and I go into the search bar. I wanted to see if the platforms indexed my podcast yet or not. I wanted to see if I type out the title, will it show up? I type it out. Lo and behold, there are like 10 other podcasts with the name In the Zone. I think like 9 of them had In the Zone with the host name, and one of them had the title for the podcast simply as In the Zone. So I was like, wow, I can't believe I made this mistake. What should I do? And I thought about it. I was like, let me see if any of these podcasts are in the top 25. They weren't. I said, what about top 100? Again, none of them were in the top 100. So I thought to myself, what if I work hard and I try to gain traction for this podcast, and whenever someone types in the Zone, mine shows up first? And I was like, you know what? Why do that? Why go through the trouble? Let's change the podcast to the Chris Josh Show. Believe it or not, I searched that before I actually changed the name, and thankfully, no one else had it. So, let's get into today's episode. Today, we're diving deep into a game changer, unstoppable confidence. This isn't just about feeling good temporarily. It's about rewiring your mindset to own every room you walk into, every challenge you face, and every goal you pursue. Let me ask you, have you ever doubted yourself right when you needed to shine the most? Maybe it was during an interview, a big decision, or even a conversation with someone you admire. If you felt this, you're not alone. But here's the truth. Confidence isn't a trait. It's a skill. And today, I'm giving you the blueprint to become unshakable, unstoppable, and undeniably you. Let me share a quick story with you. Growing up, my mother would harshly criticize everything I did. I mean it. She'd criticize me every step of the way. How I stood, how I laughed, how I would breathe, how I spoke, how I walked. And it wasn't just occasionally. It was every single day, all throughout the day. This crippled my confidence. It wasn't until I went off to college and stayed away from her that I regained my confidence back. But wait, there's more. Rest in peace, Billy Mays. I ended up with a second narcissist. This time, it was someone I'd share a bed with. This one was sneaky. She was a covert narcissist. The tactics she used against me also broke down my confidence. I eventually had enough, especially with all the red flags I saw. I up and left her. I was at rock bottom at that point. My health, my confidence, and my self-esteem were in the gutter. And even worse, my children stopped talking to me because I left their mother. I'd ask myself, how do I rebuild myself? What do I do now? And then it hit me. Screw it. I don't care anymore. I don't care about my mother. I don't care about the ex. And I don't care that my kids don't want to talk to me anymore. I didn't know this was going to help me rebuild my self-esteem and confidence, but it was the catalyst. This mindset shift helped me do a complete 180, and suddenly my energy changed. I was no longer extremely stressed out. This allowed me to clear my mind and be able to converse with people in a way where I appeared to be more confident. When I left that awful situation, I moved into a luxury building. I was very unconfident, but what saved me from appearing to be a complete loser, believe it or not, is that I was visibly angry. Even though I tried my very best to hide it. People thought I was a killer. That's what I was told. For that reason, people were actually interested in me. At this point in my life, I was scared to talk to people because my memory and decision-making skills took a major hit from the 42 years of abuse I experienced from the two women I mentioned. Narcissistic abuse is a real thing, and it's worse than physical abuse. But because I stopped giving a crap, I was able to work my way out of social anxiety. There were 200 units in my building, which gave me plenty of practice as I was always bumping into people in the elevators, the lobby, the gym, and the pool. This mindset shift is one of the foundations for rebuilding or building your confidence. In my book, Unleash Your Confidence, I dive real deep into the topic of confidence and share all the different ways to build your confidence and the benefits of increased confidence. I also discuss things that kill your confidence. This episode is just a couple of pages out of that book. All right, let's take a break from the topic of confidence and explore 10 random facts. Fact number 1. The shortest commercial flight in the world lasts just 90 seconds. It's between the islands of Westray and Papa Westray in Scotland, covering just 1.7 miles. Number 2. Avocados never ripen on trees. They only start to soften after they've been picked, which allows farmers to manage harvest times. Number 3. Honey never spoils. Wow, I never knew that. Archaeologists have found pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that are over 3,000 years old and still edible. Number 4. Dogs can learn over 1,000 words. That's incredible, guys. Some breeds, like Border Collies, have been documented to understand and respond to more than 1,000 human words. That's so interesting. Fact number 5. The world's oldest piece of chewing gum is over 9,000 years old. It was made from birch bark tar and discovered in Sweden. Number 6. Koalas have fingerprints. And their fingerprints are so similar to humans that they can confuse crime scene investigations. So guys, if you want to get away with a crime, bring a koala along. Number 7. There's a town with a one-person population. Monowi, Nebraska has only one resident, who is also the mayor, librarian, and bartender. Talk about isolation. I thought I was isolated. Number 8. Venus flytraps count before they snap. They require 2 trigger touches within 20 seconds to close, ensuring they only catch living prey. That's amazing. That's really incredible. Fact number 9. Astronauts' height increases in space. For all you short kings, you might want to hop on a space shuttle. Without gravity compressing the spine, astronauts can grow up to 2 inches taller during their time in space. As a matter of fact, as a short king myself, I'm going to contact Elon Musk and get on that flight. And last, number 10, bananas are naturally radioactive. Okay, this is pretty bizarre. Bananas contain potassium, and a small fraction of that potassium is a radioactive isotope called potassium-40. While the levels are extremely low and harmless, this radioactivity is enough to make bananas measurable by a Geiger counter. All right, guys, let's get back into the episode. Once again, we're talking about unstoppable confidence. Let's break this down into 3 foundational pillars of unstoppable confidence: belief, action, and alignment. Number 1, belief. Confidence starts in your mind. If you believe you're capable, you're already halfway there. But here's the thing. Belief isn't just about self-talk. It's about proof. Start small. Achieve tiny wins that reinforce your belief in yourself. Write down one thing you're proud of every day, and over time, you'll see evidence stacking up in your favor. Number 2, action. Fear and lack of confidence feed on inaction. Confidence grows through courage and consistent action. You don't have to take a giant leap. Just take the next step. Want to speak up in meetings? Start by sharing one idea. Want to get fit? Commit to a 10-minute workout today. Confidence doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. And number 3, alignment. True confidence is rooted in authenticity. When you take off the mask and just be yourself, you are relieving yourself of all the extra work and thinking you need to do in order to live up to a fictitious character. You're also worried about how you're going to be perceived, when in fact, you just need to be your natural self and accept that not everyone is going to like the real you. So what? At least you're more confident, carefree, and less stressed. Now, let's get into practical strategies you can implement today to boost your confidence. Number 1, body language matters. Stand tall, make eye contact, and smile. Your body sends signals to your brain, so embody confidence even before you feel it. Number 2, visualize success. Spend 5 minutes a day imagining yourself succeeding. See it, feel it, believe it. It's like a mental dress rehearsal for greatness. Number 3, reframe failure. Don't fear failure. Welcome it as a teacher. When you stumble, ask, "What did I learn?" and use that lesson to come back stronger. Number 4, curate your environment. Surround yourself with positivity. Listen to empowering podcasts, read inspiring books, and spend time with people who uplift you. Number 5, stop comparing yourself to others. It is said that comparison is the thief of joy. But I say that it's also the thief of your confidence and self-worth. If you're always looking over the fence into your neighbor's garden, you'll find your garden barren. In other words, when all you do is pay attention to what others are doing and accomplishing, you waste valuable time that you could be tending to your own garden. Understand that just because someone has a nicer car than you, it doesn't mean they actually feel great. It could mean that they are empty inside and they bought a car that's way above their means, and now they have an added stress, which is the car payment. And number 6, cut off all toxicity. Stay far away from negative people and stop consuming negative content Leave behind the people and things that stress you out consistently. Stress is one of the things that kill your confidence. Now, here are 7 affirmations for increased confidence. These are taken from my book, 8,000 Ultimate Affirmations, which contain 400 affirmations for confidence and self-esteem. Number 1, I don't go around trying to prove anything to anyone. Number 2, I know I'm capable of doing lots of things right. Number 3, I'm sure of myself and my abilities. Number 4, I know I can always get the job done. Number 5, I never worry about what I'll say. Number 6, I'm never worried about people judging me. Number 7, I'm not afraid to express myself freely. Now, you might think this is all self-centered, but it really isn't. Because at the end of the day, if you're walking around thinking low of yourself, you're actually doing a disservice for yourself and others. People love being around confident people. So don't be afraid to use affirmations to boost your confidence. But don't confuse confidence with arrogance. Don't walk around thinking you're better than everyone, okay? Because if you knew the truth on a spiritual level, you would understand that that's the silliest thing you can do. So being confident, but not show off, not being arrogant, not walk like you're above everyone else. That's what you got to keep in mind. Now, confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. So don't think just because you weren't born with confidence that you can't attain it, because you can. Remember, belief, action, and alignment are your secret weapons. Start small, stay consistent, and celebrate every step forward. You can do this. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Confidence doesn't mean you'll never feel fear. It means you won't let fear stop you. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who needs to hear this. Follow me for more tools and insights to help you live your best life. And if you're ready to dive deeper, head over to www.chrisjosh.com for exclusive content and resources. Thank you for tuning in to The Chris Josh Show. Until next time, stay bold, stay unstoppable, and most importantly, stay you.